This week, we are back in our hometown with the 10th ranked female street skateboarder in the world. In 2 weeks, she will be in Paris, France at the Olympic Games. It's 115 degrees in the 602 and 480. Las Vegas, SoCal, NorCal. Get yourself an iced coffee from Dutch Brothers for this week's episode with one of Tempe's finest, Paige Heyn.
One-Star Recruits listeners, show some love to our sponsor, 500level.com, the best sports t-shirts on the internet. They have a new collab with Sports Illustrated, some amazing, iconic covers of SI on t-shirts. Randy Johnson, the big unit, Arizona legend, Ken Griffey Jr., Shohei Ohtani. There's dozens and dozens of these awesome shirts on 500level.com. Use the discount code DKANDRIP, DKANDRIP. 20% off everything on the site. Let's go!
I'm Paige Heyn, and I'm on with the One Star Recruits podcast.
Yo, aloha. By far and away, the best drink at Dutch Brothers Coffee is off the secret menu. You can only get this drink in Arizona, listeners. I'm not lying, Rip. This is only something that you can get in the state of Arizona. The OG Grand Canyon, that's what it's called. The OG part is very important to this order if you're driving around in Arizona right now thinking about getting a 64-ounce iced coffee. OG Grand Canyon. What is that, Rip? Do you want to take a guess?
The OG to me sounds like coffee grounds at the bottom of the cup. Is it coffee grounds, the OG?
So like the coffee grounds is part of the, you would pay extra for that, just coffee grounds at the bottom of the cup.
No, I'm thinking if you really define what an OG is, it's the original gangster of coffee, and to me that's the coffee grounds.
Well, Dutch Brothers, Rip, it's a West Coast phenomenon. It might be a United States phenomenon. It's the only place I've seen that has a drive-through line longer than In-N-Out Burger consistently, 24/7. I don't even know who drinks this much coffee, but I've done it before a couple times. I find myself in a road trip situation, driving out to Queen Creek or going up north to Flagstaff, and I want to stop over and get myself a little boost. This is the order. The OG Grand Canyon from Dutch Bros. It's white chocolate. I don't know how you say this word. I want to say annulator is how they're saying it on the website, but I'm going to skip that word. I'm going to call it what I think it is from my own taste, from my own palate, Rip. The OG Grand Canyon. It's white chocolate and chocolate milk. That's the X factor. Chocolate milk and then a caramel drizzle, but you can pick whatever extra drizzle you want in it. But they mix white chocolate with chocolate milk together with the coffee on ice with a drizzle. It's a fan favorite. Are you with me, Rip? It's a sugar rush. This is like getting a delicious treat after dinner. It's not for an everyday snack.
It sounds super unhealthy, but it also sounds amazing. I don't know if that's what Paige drinks. I was surprised to find out 16-year-olds even drink coffee. How old am I?
This Dutch Brothers is a phenomenon. You want that sweet and chocolatey, it's 115 degrees. They introduced Breve. They got teenagers saying Breve all over the country right now looking for really cool stuff. And that's what I'm serving up on this episode. Rip secret menu stuff. Arizona only represented. You have any good eats? You have any good treats at the Dodgers game?
We brought in a value guy here. We brought in peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for the kids and bagel sandwiches for my wife and I. So I don't know if I think I spent $10 on an icy for the kids, and that's it. I got out of there under $50.
I mean, I suppose the experience out the window. So they fully allow that at Chavez Ravine Dodger Stadium. Bring in whatever you want.
Clear bag policy, 12 by 12. You got to see, you can bring in anything you can fit in a 12 by 12 clear bag. Basically, it's not a handgun.
You went bagels. Any spreads or meats or just hard bagels? Cut them open.
No, it was a sandwich. I think salami, spinach, Swiss cheese, all kinds of nonsense that we had left over in the fridge. But hey, value guy, man. No Dodger dog for me this weekend.
I'm looking to find out maybe if there's other stuff that you were going to hit. Nope. One snow cone, they call it in the States. In Hawaii, you call it shave ice. You know that, Rip? Shave ice? It doesn't have a D on the end. It's just in case next time you find yourself in Hawaii. I want you to be okay with that. Boring answer, though, Rip. Terrible answer. Dodger Stadium. How were those seats? Were they as shitty as you thought they were going to be? Right in the sun. Smack right there. Terrible time.
It was rough, actually. Bad parenting weekend for us. We had our kid out there in my oldest, my 7-year-old. We had him out there in the sun, 90 degrees, tame for Arizona, but hot for LA for 5 hours. He woke up the next morning with 102 fever. So bad parenting weekend for us. But luckily, it was only a 24-hour thing. But he saw his first Dodger game, so he was happy.
Yes, that's sun sickness. My old man got that. He's 83, Rip. He stepped out for about 6 minutes in Arizona versus 5 hours with your son. 5 hours right there, Rip. Unbelievable parenting. But that's crazy little phenomenon. Happens a lot in Arizona. Much happened to a lot of these skateboarders in Arizona. That's why tons of these skate parks and new partnerships have started to grow. If you know, you know. Skateboarding for me has gone from alien workshop sneaking into vacant, empty pools in Arizona. Not really, not like you think, like a Vans, skate video in the 80s, Rip. Much more embarrassing and not cool, and probably involved GPC lights and just bad behavior as well. And kind of a hobby that morphed over time from this negative connotation thing to being a full grown Olympic sport. We saw skateboarding kick off in Tokyo, and it's only gotten a lot better since. The process seems to have tightened up the way they select people, train for it, and come out kind of really swinging, because this is an international sport, maybe more so than any of them, because there's opportunity for everybody to win. As I learned a little bit more about skateboarding in Paris in 2024. Anything that you're super curious about, Rip, as far as skateboarding is concerned? I have a couple of names I want people to stay on the lookout for. There's some Arizona representing nicely, which I really appreciate. Really, the West Coast does skateboarding, and Florida does skateboarding professionally at the Olympics. Well, makes sense. Warm weather places. It's not rocket science there. Anything you're curious about, Rip, before I drop some names on you?
I'm curious to see why out of 4 events in the last Olympics, the U.S. only ended up with 2 bronze medals. They were both in the men's, one street and one park, but shut out of the women's medal events in the Tokyo Olympics.
We got parity, Rip. This is like the NFL. You never know when you can string off 8 wins in a row, get into a wild card situation, and make a run. This is wide open. That's what I'm saying. International sport. There's a lot of things going on. The qualification process, it sounds like it's tightened up a little bit. So we're working with, coming up here in a couple weeks in Paris, 88 athletes who are going to compete in skateboarding, 44 men, 44 women, half in park, half in street. So there's 8 more people this year than competed just people-wise from Americans than Tokyo last year. So it's growing. Nevertheless, here we go. So men and women, street and park, it's going down. Like I said, a lot of representing from California, Florida, and Arizona. I wanted to drop some names. I'm going to drop some names. A couple other Americans repping for the USA in skateboarding. Some get familiar with. Some hear about them on the 1-star type value. It's you'll be watching 2 weeks from now and be like, oh shit. I remember when Rip was talking about, Chris Jocelyn on the 1-star recruits. So you never know what you'll learn on this show. But Paige mentioned him. He's from Mesa, Arizona. Our guy, 23-year-old Jagger Eaton. He's coming in, got the usual sponsors going, Red Bull, Polo Ralph Lauren sponsor, which I really appreciate as a skateboarding sponsor. That's a new thing. Chipotle, one of your favorites, Rip, value guy. Anyway, keep your eyes open for Jagger Eaton. He's coming in street. He's coming in hot as a top American, a guy that a lot of people do know about. Nyjah Houston from Davis, California. Great skater for a long time. He did not do as well as folks wanted. He was supposed to really get a gold in Tokyo. He ended up getting 6th or 7th. I'm not sure what it was, but it was not what he was going into it. He's coming in with a full head of steam. So keep your eyes open for him. You've heard of him before. Nyjah Houston, he's coming in hot. This guy, Rip, older dude, he's 28. So I'm going to let you root for him. Chris Jocelyn's 2 reasons. 28, older guy. Second reasons, representing Hawaiian Gardens, California. Ties both of us together a little bit, Rip, right?
Nice skate park over there for sure.
Right by you. Also Hawaii, right in the words. Chris, I think that you can do it. Also appreciate that you're still rocking Plan B skateboards and independent trucks. 2 of my favorite brands. On the women's side of skateboarding, Rip, a couple names. Then we'll get to this interview. Straight out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Mariah Duran. She's 27. She also was in the Tokyo game, so she's coming back. She's really, really good. Somehow I started watching a lot of skate videos. The algorithm's feeding me stuff. One of Durian's signature tricks is a hard flip. It's one of the coolest skateboarding tricks that you can see or do. She does it with the best of them. Keep your eyes out for her. And of course, from Tempe, age 16, Paige, Nike SB, Toy Machine, Volcom, Jones. Also, a lot of cool sponsors. God, that Nike SB sponsorship is kind of cool for skateboarding. Love that. 16 years old, we talk about it. New, a kind of new face to the world scene. Qualified. She's going to be there in 2024. Mark it down. We're rooting for Paige, straight out of Arizona. Youngest skateboarder on the U.S. Olympic team. Let's hope for big tricks, clean landings. Enjoy this interview with Paige Heyn.
Now joining the One Star Recruits podcast, we have a native of Tempe, Arizona, currently the 10th ranked female street skateboarder in the world, and one of the youngest athletes competing in Paris for the U.S. Olympic team in just a few weeks. Paige Heyn is on with the One Star Recruits. Thanks for jumping on, Paige.
Thank you, guys.
We're excited to have you because we grew up in Tempe as well. But first things first, I have a question because I'm a dad of young kids. And I'm always reminding them to put on their helmets when they ride their bikes or scooters, anything with wheels. But in all the street skateboarding videos I see you in, nobody wears helmets anymore. Am I doing the wrong thing? Do the kids need to ditch their helmets now?
No, I think helmets are really important when you first start, but once you start learning how to fall without it.
Okay, so once you know what you're doing, it's okay to take it off is what I'm getting here.
Maybe.
Okay.
Fair, fair. Yeah, good take. Rip's always concerned with helmet wearing. It's his number one priority in dad life. Paige, you're an all-around skateboarder. You have it all in your bag. Street, park, and vert. Setting new bars with switch rail tricks, doing all kinds of cool stuff on your way to Paris. Let's give some love real fast, though, to the Phoenix skateboarding scene, from the KTR facility, the skate park communities that have come up, the hidden spots all over Tempe and Phoenix. Go ahead. Give some love to people and Tempe just doing great things for skateboarding.
I think everyone that's worked at KTR, I grew up skating there. It's definitely how I got to where I am today, and I'm super grateful for all of that.
It's a great spot, listeners. It's a wonderful facility. Let's do a couple fire round questions. I'm a fellow skateboarder. What? I don't know if people say what anymore. That's embarrassing. Anyway, when Rip mentioned we were having you on the show, I started thinking of my 3 top skateboarding moments of my life in Tempe. I'm going to list them, Paige. You tell me, A, if you know the spot. B, you can rate the trick if it's legit or lame. You ready?
Yeah.
Feel free to tell me if it's lame. Okay. Number 1, the set of 3 stairs at Rover Elementary School where I landed my first ever heel flip. Legit or lame?
Legit.
Yes, thank you. And that is a great set of stairs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's my skater friends are going to be so excited. Next 3 trick happened. Oh, this was in Scottsdale. So this was at the Wedge. When the Wedge, listeners, there's a gigantic pyramid that spans under the flood canal under McDowell Street, pretty much. That sounds weird. Anyway, let's see, Paige. What was my trick? Oh, yeah. On the Wedge, my first ever 360 flip. Just on the side of the Wedge, though. Legit or lame?
Legit.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Let's go. Okay. Number 3, last but not least. I once fakey manualed the entire 2 full basketball courts at Fees Elementary School. Legit or lame?
I think that's a lame.
No, it's
lame?
legit. It's
That's
legit.
too. 3 for 3. So legit skater alert for DK, Rip. There you go. One more quick hitter, Paige. You're from Tempe. We're from Tempe. I want to play a game that I just kind of made up last week, but we're going to give it a go. It's called How Tempe Are You? I'm 40. You're not 40. You're a teenager, so we might miss on some of these, but I'm going to try anyway. You ready?
Yeah.
How Tempe are you? Okay, Paige. Name 2 main activities kids can do at Kiwanis Park.
Baseball and swimming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Wave pool, batting cage. And yes. Name 3. Okay. Name 3 food or drink options on Rule and Guadalupe. I can think of 7, I think.
Restaurant? Are you talking restaurants?
Any food options. Anywhere you can get a refreshment or
Dutch
some food.
Bros.
Yes.
Burger King
Nice.
and Jack in the Box.
The ding, ding, ding. We got a Salazar Brothers. We got a Little Caesars. But Paige, so far you're definitely repping Tempe pretty hard. Let's go.
Hopefully not eating those all in the same day.
No.
No, very dangerous strip right there. That's the very dangerous strip. Who is one other Olympian from the Valley?
Jagger Eaton.
Nice, nice. Gary Hall, another one. Amanda Borden, another one. This one might be tough. Name 4 of the 6 high schools in the Tempe High School Union District and their mascots.
Ooh.
Oh, and their mascots?
That's a tough part.
Give her your high school, Dana, at least.
Marcos Iniza Padres, baby. Put it up there on the board. Number 1. Who else you got?
Corona. I don't know the mascot.
Aztecs. Corona Aztecs.
Oh, Tempe High School.
Nice. One more. Rip, you got it for a helping hand. Rip, what do you got?
I'll give you a hint. I think it's the only high school with a swimming pool in Tempe. Right off I can't give the street because it's the same name. Right off of what, Baseline?
It's the same name, Rip. I'm gonna give it to her. McClintock High School. McClintock
Oh,
High School.
yeah.
There it is.
Last question, Paige. What does Rio Salado translate to in English?
I don't know.
I didn't know this one either. It's totally okay. Rip, what does it mean?
It's the Salt River. Rio Salado Salt River runs right through the heart of Tempe.
Yeah.
Salt River. But hey,
Almost like too easy.
Paige, Rip, would you confirm? Definitely Tempe.
Yeah, I'd say she's probably 80% Tempe. That knowledge of
Yeah.
those restaurants on rural and Guadalupe is key right there.
Good job. Good job, Paige.
Okay, Paige, we end every interview with the segment we call 1 star to 5 star. DK said it. We're 1 stars. You can tell by these questions. We're trying to get better with advice and tips from every guest we have on this podcast, like yourself. So we're gonna ask a few questions that run the gamut on a 1 to 5 star scale here. So I mentioned I have 2 young kids. They haven't gotten into skateboarding yet, but I'm going to have their helmets on when they do. What's your 5-star tip to help kind of spark an interest for kids in skateboarding? I know you got, I think it was your uncle that got you your first skateboard. What do you say to encourage kids to get interested in skateboarding for the first time?
Just try to always have fun with it, because like once you're not having fun, then what's the point?
Okay, I like that. Yeah, fun is important in every sport. Just to piggyback along that, like, what is a typical day for you as far as like training and balancing with school? I know it's summertime right now, but balancing the training with school, like, what's the commitment for you required to become an Olympian? Is it, I mean, how often and long are you training for?
I usually wake up and then go straight to training, like 3 hours, and then I'll come home, do like some resting, stretching, eat a good meal, and then go back out for another couple hours.
Next one here. I know we see you do some insane tricks out there, especially with street skateboarding. You clearly have like very little fear when it comes to skateboarding. But I'm curious, is there something that you are afraid of? Like, what's your 1-star fear in life? Is there anything in life that you're afraid of if it's not skateboarding?
I'm kind of scared of bugs. Bugs really scare me.
Me too. How about those scorpions out in AZ? You ever seen one of those?
No, yeah, I've seen them. They're disgusting.
Very gross. Very gross.
Permission to run those over with your skateboard.
Yeah.
Okay, last one here. My 2 tips. I want to give you some 5-star tips for Paris. I mentioned it off the top. I was there about a month ago to celebrate a wedding anniversary. Number 1 is the toilets in Europe. You almost have to pay for all of them in public. So just a tip is to carry some euros, usually €1 to pay to go to the restroom. It's crazy because you never think of that in Arizona or anywhere else in the US. So that's the number 1 tip. You probably already know. I know you've been other places in Europe. Number 2 is kind of an under the radar one. They have amazing bread in Europe and France, and as everyone knows. But if they serve you bread, they never give you butter with it. So if you're like a normal American and like butter on your bread, you either have to bring it yourself or you have to like ask for it. So that's the second 5-star
Plain
tip.
bread.
Yeah, I mean, who wants plain bread? I guess the Parisians.
He's right, Paige. See, I told you they weren't very good. He's saying you should bring butter with you when you go out to eat, and see how that's not working in real life. Rip. Nobody except you would do that. Rip. Unfortunately,
that's why we're 1 stars. But hey, everyone can go follow Paige at Paige Heyn on Instagram. It's PaigeHeyn. You can buy your merchandise or send donations for her journey at PaigeHeyn.com. The Olympic skateboarding events, I believe, start July 27th in a few weeks here. So we'll be rooting you on from the West Coast. Sending so much luck your way, Paige. Rooting for an Arizonan. Thank you for coming on with the One Star Recruits.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank
You're
you,
welcome.
Tepe. All right, 2024, exciting times. Thank you, Paige. The Olympics will be breaking in, Rip, breakdancing. Brand new sport alert. Kind of exciting. Couple fun facts here about Paris that also people should keep their eyes open for a little bit. Breakdancing. When I just say that and the Olympics, right then and there, does it capture your attention? Are you intrigued at all?
I mean, high-level breakdancing is one of the coolest things to watch, whether it's like a street show in Vegas or just someone at a club that breaks it out. Like high-level breakdancing is very watchable, so I'm down for that for sure.
All right, good. You like it. And you were just in Paris, so maybe you know the spot too. The competition is going to be held at a place called let's see. It's just outside the Tuileries Garden, Palais de Concorde. Does that sound familiar? That's not even French. I think I just did a different language I completely invented. This isn't going to work out well. It will be held in a cool, interesting environment to watch. It's not just going to be held in some hall in, a middle school somewhere in France. So breaking. Is it cool to call it that? Yeah, breaking. Let's see what's up. We got that, skateboarding, sport climbing, and surfing. Interesting new things a little bit. Surfing itself, for a while, I just kind of was going with the flow. Surfing in France, maybe they'll figure out in the south of France, they'll get it going. Did you think through this surfing and how it would happen, Rip, in a pool? And did you think through this at all?
I mean, it's got to be an ocean with waves unless they do one of the man-made things, maybe the Kiwanis Park wave pool in Paris.
Exactly, bro. You start looking at the map, you start thinking it through. Nobody thought it through until just recently. It's their 2024 surfing is being going to be hosted in an overseas territory. They're taking this bad boy to Tahiti, bro. They're taking it to Tahiti, which is French Polynesia, a French, I don't know, is that still a colony? I don't know if you can say that, but Teahupu Beach in Tahiti is going to be the venue for this year's competition. So everything you see surfing wise will be on 12 hours difference in French Polynesia in Tahiti. So that's a little bit wild, wrench in the system there, but makes sense. Also, another reason for countries that have interesting spread out places to host the Olympics for reasons like this in the future, possibly.
I know in 2028 in the Los Angeles Olympics, they're doing softball is actually in Oklahoma City, kind of a similar thing because the max capacity of a softball stadium, that's the biggest one in the country. So they're doing it in Oklahoma City. So, I mean, it's not Tahiti, but I see why.
Makes sense. So you'll see also, while watching this year's Olympics in Paris, you'll see competitions that continue to showcase existing Parisian landmarks. So you'll see volleyball being held in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower, which is going to be cool. That's for TV. Unbelievable. Great idea. Good job, Paris. So we'll set and spike that thing at the Champ de Mars, Rip. You were just there. Get up in it. Go check that out. So we have a lot of cool shit going on that's really new, semi-exciting. Paris has gotten a lot of heat for a handful of reasons. We haven't even talked about their terrible mascot, Rip, this thing called the Farragon cap. If you do yourself a favor right now and just want to laugh, Google Paris 24 mascot and just tell me what that is.
It's so bad. I was there for 4 days and it was everywhere in the souvenir shops. And I'm like, what on earth? It looks like a mix between like a melted marshmallow and like the Pillsbury Doughboy. It's so bad. I didn't even think about buying it.
That could be one of those things we look back in 10 years and someone's got a hat and a shirt and it's fashionable and it's cool, but time and now it's not even, I don't even know the tie to France any way, shape, or form. Put a beret on that thing. Give it a baguette at least. Set it up for success somehow, some way. It's a terrible mascot. One of the worst I've ever seen in my entire life, Rip. 1 star moments of the week. We all have them. We just don't talk about them. We do on this podcast. Rip, what's your 1 star moment?
Man, this happened a couple weeks ago. A few years, I bought a peach tree, and with my green thumb, I knew I was going to turn that into the best peach tree in Long Beach. I planted it and started producing peaches the very next year. It's turned into a beautiful tree, still kind of tiny because it's only 3 years old, but it's small, so I cover it with a net to keep the birds away. And I've been picking my peaches this spring. We had produced about 100 peaches on the peach tree, and that's probably the way peaches are these days, probably $100, $200 right there in crop. So Anyway, we had about 50 left on it, and I went out to pick some to give the kids with their dinner. And DK, all the peaches were gone. Every single peach on the tree with the net still covering it were gone. Someone stole about 50 peaches off my peach tree. It's on some kind of a conspicuous area, but you can see it because the net's over it. But there's no other explanation than someone came in my yard and stole 50 peaches off my tree, left it completely bare, not one peach left on the tree. What day and age are we living in?
You got a hell of a neighborhood. So last week, you had a woman park in your driveway, get out, stumble around, smell some flowers for roughly 20 to 40 minutes, get back in, drive away. This week, you had 50, not five. Five seems reasonable. Seems like a number you can get in your shirt and your two pockets. 50. Somebody was casing the damn tree. Rip. Are these class A? Are these class A peaches? I get my peaches from Long Beach.
That's the thing. Like they're okay, but probably 2-star peaches right now because the tree's so young and they're kind of tiny. Maybe in 10 years they'll be really good, but these people, it's like stealing an Amazon package and you open it up and it's like Q-tips or something you're
So
barely going to use.
what's your theory?
I honestly have no idea. I checked all my camera videos, my ring videos, but it kind of doesn't stretch to that area, so I didn't see any evidence of a car pulling up and like a masked man running out and grabbing 50 peaches. I really have no idea who did it. All I know is someone stole 50 peaches off my tree, and it was a sad day. 1-star moment of the week.
1-star moment, we'll take it. There's no consensus on theory. I think you're playing it safe for this podcast, and you have a theory, Rip, you don't want to share with him. We'll put it on it. We'll put it on the paid episode. Obnoxious when you don't tell the listeners your real theory, Rip, because I know it's out there. People love the real crime shows, but if you don't give it to them, Rip, they're not gonna be there with you. We don't got a theory, a hypotenuse.
I got nothing, man. What do you got? What's your 1-star moment of the week?
1-star moment of the week. My 1-star moment of the week essentially is that I have the time, energy, and space to activate and do what my 1-star recommendation actually is. If that makes any sense. I'm embarrassed, but also proud of my 1-star moment of the week that I completed, and I am sharing my wreck of the week, although it very well could be my 1-star moment of the week. Does that make sense?
I can't wait to hear it.
All righty. 1-star wreck of the week / 1-star moment of the week. Sometimes what you're looking for is right in front of your face is really, I guess, what I want to say to listeners out there. I want to be a proponent of that. I'm a believer in that. And I had to activate my own belief system this week in my moment. And I have one dog that has slept on the floor the whole life in the dog bed. Very happy, prefers it, gets off the bed, heads to his own space. Loves it. I have another dog who has figured out a way to make her way onto the bed most of her life. You know, very sweet, but she's figured it out. There's a couple buttons that she can hit just kind of right. She hits the right code to activate the bed pickup. You know, it's actually very well executed play that she makes happen because we fought it for years. Nevertheless, she's getting older, and after time, it's not safe to have her on the bed anymore. Sometimes she's leaky. Incontinence, as they say. A lot of men have it. A lot of people just have. You probably went to the restroom today and moved a little bit too fast. Right back in your undies. Incontinence. It's not don't judge her for this. We don't judge her at my house, but we want to create a safe space. So we tried a couple things. We made a plan. I paced around for a little bit. And the word of the day is activate. What I did was I activated. I've used it 17 times. If you're taking shots during this podcast, 17, you're faded by now. And drink water in Arizona. I know it's hot there in Arizona. Is I activated a dead space. Essentially in my house, I activated the closet floor. What I did was I took extra old pillows. I built up old pillows on top of outside pillows. So a base was built. Two toppings of older blankets were placed on top into this smaller walk-in closet in the bedroom. What I did was I took completely dead space, Rip. By the way, you have it all over your house. Ceilings. Nobody thinks about this stuff. Ceilings. Put motivational quotes up there. Hang some plants up there. Right on the ceilings. It's dead space. Activate it. Activate your dead space. Hang some plants. I activated my closet to a full-on dog apartment, 2 putt beds, 2 blankets, double pillows, fan facing that way. I thought I was going to have a fight on my life. At least 16 go lay downs was the under over that was set for 4 nights ago. Minimum 16 go lay downs. Guess how many? 1. Right into the space. It feels safe because it's secure. Took that bottom of the floor in the closet nobody really uses. Activated it. Dog apartment. Guess what? You want to wake up the next morning and don't want to see the dog apartment? Close the door. Everything's working out for me, Rip. Activating dead space. That's the name of the game. 1-star moment.
Kind of makes you think why you didn't do it 10 years ago. You could have had this whole thing missing out on comfort and security for the last 10 years.
I could be designing. This could have been a business. I could design dog apartments in dead space for animals to be their happiest.
They deserve it, DK. Spoil those dogs as much as you can.
Recommend something to us good, Rip. Talk good to me.
Sticking with our Olympic theme for the show, 16-year-old skateboarder Paige Heyn. I actually watched a new Netflix documentary last night. It's called Sprint, Sprint. It chronicles the lives of 4 or 5 sprinters, not all from America, but leading up to the Olympic Games. It's an amazing, Netflix, we all know, does these docuseries so well. They did the quarterback one. Now they got the wide receivers one, but then they got the Formula One one. But this one now it's called Sprint. These are people that you don't hear a ton about, but everyone kind of knows Noah Lyles, who is the fastest man in the world, for the time being. But he's actually, I'm not going to ruin too much of the show. He's the 200-meter champion, gold medal in Tokyo. He's going down to the 100 as well. He's going to try to double up. I think the last person to win both of those is either Michael Johnson or Carl Lewis. It hasn't been done much, but it's an amazing show. I watched episode 1 last night. Everyone check it out on Netflix. It's called Sprint. It's a great show in the lead up to the Paris Olympics. And really the best 10 seconds in all of sports to me is the 100-meter dash final. And that's coming up in I think the beginning of August. So it's an amazing show, DK.
Yawn. Catch me. I'm an X Games style now, bro. Catch me watching surfing, breakdancing, basketball, and handball. Hit the music. Rips reacts.
That's because you can't run a 100-meter dash in less
I'll beat
than
you.
a minute.
I'll beat you. New Era Cap, the Buffalo-based company, has struck a multi-year deal with the NHL. This is huge news for the NHL because their hats have actually really sucked for years. It's why you don't see a lot of NHL hats out on the streets, Rip. But New Era's here to solve their problems. They'll be activating, there it is, 18 times it. Listeners, take a shot for the next season, 24-25. Anyway, Rip, top 3 New Era hats ever to exist. Currently, as you currently sit at your current age, go ahead, top 3.
You're talking to a 1-star hat aficionado. I'm going old school Phoenix Suns logo, number 1. Chicago Bulls logo. I don't even know if these are New Era. They could be 5950. They could be Nike. I have no idea, but I'm just going top 3 hats. Mitchell Ness. I'm just going top 3 hats at this point. And the number 1, I'm going to say it's Miami Heat, that basketball on fire. Let's go.
It could be one of the worst. Right off the top for me. Number 1, San Francisco Giants. Clean logo. Detroit Tigers. Number 2, number 3, anytime you put on a Yankees hat, it's going to look good on you. I don't care what any of the haters say. Top 3 there for me. Rip, Olivia Dunn, star LSU gymnast, announced she's returning for a 5th collegiate season. Had a COVID issue and stuff, and so she gets a 5th year. The girlfriend of Star Pirates rookie pitcher Paul Skeens. Congrats, Big Paul, on your All-Star game. She made a social media post, said, not done yet, DUNNE. She's coming back. Rip, I'm a member of the 5-year plus college plan. You're a member of the 5-year plus college plan. What's the most useful thing you learned in college that you use every day of your life?
First off, I graduated in 4 years. How dare you? And from Arizona State, so that's really about 5 years anywhere else. But the number one thing I think is probably time management. Working 40 hours a week and taking 12 to 16 credit hours a week it requires a lot of organization and time management, something I still use, and it's a real life skill that a lot of people don't have, but that's the number one thing I learned in college.
Wimbledon, attendance is down during the first week. seems to be down as a whole. Tennis, the roar isn't there that it once had. Once these icons start retiring. Rip, is this the pickleball effect? Is tennis done?
I see you're still pronouncing with a T, Wimbledon, when it's Wimbledon. Yeah, you've had that problem for years, but it's kind of dying out. I read a long article from, I think it was what was it? I think it was Andy Murray or one of those tennis stars the other day that gave a lot of reasons why tennis is kind of dying. It's partly a marketing thing and partly because pickleball as well. But if something doesn't happen in the next few years, it's going to continue to decline and lose a lot of share to pickleball. A lot of young kids aren't playing it anymore. It's kind of an old school thing. So I'd definitely be worried if I was a tennis board member.
Rip's worried. Tennis, USTA, get worried. If Rip is worried, that's it, Rip. The Olympics, dude, they start, I think, 15 days away. The still problematics in the Seine River. Still a lot of issues. E. coli was just found in the Seine River. Most of the opening ceremonies and a lot of the triathlon events are only going to be done in this space. They have no other place to do the triathlon, Rip. No other place. This is going to be the story of these. You heard it first. You knew before anybody else. The story of this Olympics might be two problems. We'll see. We're going back on our athletic director tour next week. Get excited. Big time schools, big time programs, one-star recruits. We'll see you next week.
Go Paige Heyn, go USA. See you next week.